Hi, I'm Daniel, and the Patrick Star Show started about a month ago, and it was the second SpongeBob spin-off after Camp Corvo earlier this year, yeah. So now there's three SpongeBob shows ongoing. I didn't review Camp Corvo because I already discussed my thoughts on a 5-minute clip released in my top 10 worst SpongeBob episodes from season 7, which fits my thoughts on the full show. Well, I haven't seen the second batch episodes, and I don't plan to. I consider pairing my review of this with my season 12 video, but I already had the season rank in the video, and I have more thoughts on this. And while I'm at it, I'll discuss the controversy around the spin-off after. When it was first announced, I wasn't looking forward to it, all the way proceeding to its release, with Camp Coral's mediocrity adding onto it. First, the intro is bad. It just has Patrick's voice kind of introducing his family, but not really, and an annoying tune in the background. This is one of the few tunes that the skip intro button would be something I want to use. The stories are really dragged out to fit the runtime, and I think somewhere very deep they're trying to parody sitcom shows. But not even sitcoms like this with the padding and randomness. If it was at least a passable parody, it would put yacht tracks after yarns while they're sitting around talking or something like that, but no. The story is a stuff like Patrick needs to find or make food, Patrick gets yachts in the couch trying to find a remote and other stuff like that, paired with unfunny jokes that are targeting a very young audience, which not even most of middle-era SpongeBob did. Even with all the padding, the show still needs to push short in the episodes, which I will complain about, but they're actually pretty good, having stuff like Plankton advertising the chum bucket, and the black and white Frankenstein parody in the stop motion style, which I'm going to use to lead into the great colourful look animation. With redesigns of all characters that actually work for a change, I prefer Patrick with a shirt over Patrick without a shirt. A big improvement over Camp Coral's low quality CG with ugly outside shots. As for the characters, Patrick isn't funny or frustrating here. He is just a boring main character who shouldn't be one. His mum and dad barely get any screen time, and are bland characters. Squiddy in his role is running the show and being dedicated to doing that. And the grandpa is the classic type of old person who tells stories about his day while also being a daredevil, and they are fine new additions. Characters from SpongeBob appear a bit like Squidward, Sandy, and of course SpongeBob, which just makes the show have trouble separating itself from the main show. I also think it's a prequel, but I don't know how. SpongeBob continuity has always been bad, so it's not a problem, unless it's debunking something major like when SpongeBob was driving in greasy buffoons. This show is a boring mess, and while there is some positive aspects, I will give it a 3 out of 10, which is a low rating for a standalone review. I didn't wait for the season to finish to review this show, because I have seen enough of this. Out of the spin-offs, it's slightly worse than Camp Coral, because at least that isn't stretching what should be 4 minutes to 11. Okay, now this may be a touchy subject for some, but I need to discuss the controversy about SpongeBob spin-offs, because it would be hard to discuss them without it, and I have stuff to say about extremes on both sides. For those who don't know, Stephen Hillenburg, the creator of SpongeBob, died in late 2018. And a couple of months later, Nickelodeon announced that SpongeBob was expanding to spin-offs. The timing is suspicious, and considering Hillenburg apparently didn't like spin-offs, it seems he decided to do it right after he died. However, one thing to note is that Camp Core was announced to be part of Sponge on the Run, or It's a Wonderful Sponge it was called then, a month before he died, so either A, the idea of turning that part of the movie into a show was decided later, or B, Hillenburg was okay with Camp Core existing. It is very unlikely that Sponge on the Run was going against Hillenburg. Part of the story was even dedicated to him in fact, but the film got loads of hate because of it. I rewatched it recently, and I stand by what I said. I think it's a great film. It does have flaws like the pacing and villain, and I can understand why some people might not like it, but the hate was really overboard. And if the spin-off wasn't announced before the film released, the reception would be way better. After actually watching the show, I quite like the Camp Coral part of the film, mostly for the speeches by Sandy, Patrick, and especially Squidward. It isn't even in the same canon because Squidward is meant to be older in the show but not in the movie. Also, In the interview with Heisenberg, he said he can't see any spin-offs, not he never wants spin-offs, and is harshly against it. Tom Kenny, voice of SpongeBob, said that he and Heisenberg found the change CGI weird at first, which, unless he was lying, shows that he knew about Camcorder. I don't think it should be in any way definitive of either side to the debate, because that might be disrespectful depending on what Heisenberg actually thought. But looking at the evidence, I think he most likely knew about Camcorder at least. However, there is more debate with the Patrick Star show. He said in the interview only Patrick wouldn't work, but you could argue it's not only Patrick, there are other characters, or he changed his mind. Still, I won't deny that the timing of when it was announced is suspicious, and considering Nickelodeon's track record, it wouldn't be unbelievable that they would do this, so both are very possible, and it shouldn't affect opinion on the shows, especially when you don't have confirmation, or it can be debunked like Sponge on the Run. Oh, this was supposed to be a review of the Patrick Star show. I spent half the video talking about this. In conclusion, I didn't like this, and don't think SpongeBob spin-offs are a good idea, but not because of that controversial wormhole I just talked about. The Sandy movie could be good because it's just a single movie, but I'm still not very hopeful about it. I wouldn't recommend this in any situation, but I can't stop you, so if you still want to, go ahead. Also, I have done a lot of SpongeBob videos, and my series for best and worst from each season is ending next month. The end.